standing here, thank you to the patriots and lovers of liberty who are here today. I'm thrilled to be with you today. Amen. You know, you can learn a lot about a word by looking at its origins, looking at its history. If you look at the roots of the word politics, it has two parts. Poly, meaning many, and ticks, meaning blood-sucking parasites. And that is a fairly accurate description of Washington, D.C. But let me tell you, we're here today for something a lot more important than politics. We're here because our country's in crisis. Because we're bankrupting our kids and grandkids. It takes every one of us, every single one of us, standing together to pull this country back. And I am here today with a word of hope and encouragement all across Illinois, all across this country. People are waking up and help is on the way. This election, I believe, is going to come down to three key issues: jobs, freedom, and security. Let's start with jobs. I want to talk for a minute to all the single moms who are here, who are working 2, 3 part-time jobs, who've had your hours forcibly reduced to 28, 29 hours a week because Obamacare kicks in at 30 hours a week. I want to talk to all the truck drivers, all the steel workers and plumbers and electricians, all the union members, all the men and women with calluses on your hands, who've seen your wages stagnating year after year after year. Cost of living keeps going up, but somehow your paycheck doesn't seem to keep pace. I want to talk to all the young people coming out of school. You got student loans up to your eyeballs. And you're scared, am I going to get a job? Am I going to be able to provide for my family? What does the future hold for me? And the Democrats in the media, although I repeat myself, they tell us this is as good as it gets. Let me tell you, that is an absolute lie. You know, it's easy to talk about making America great again. You can even print that on a baseball cap. But the real question is, do you understand the principles and values that made America great in the first place? The heart of our economy isn't Washington, D.C. The heart of our economy is small businesses all across the United States of America. You want to kill the economy? Do what we've done the last 7 years. Hammer the living daylights out of small businesses. On the other hand, you want to see the economy take off? Then lift the boot of the federal government off of the backs and the necks of small businesses. If I'm elected president, we will repeal every word of Obamacare. We'll pass common sense health care reform that makes health insurance personal and portable and affordable and keeps government from getting in between us and our doctors. And we will pass a simple flat tax. Where every American can fill out our taxes on a postcard. And when we do that, we should abolish the IRS. We're going to rein in the EPA and the CFPB and the alphabet soup of federal agencies that descend like locusts on small businesses and farmers and ranchers, killing jobs all across this country. We're going to stop amnesty and secure the borders and end sanctuary cities and end welfare benefits for those here illegally. And when we do that, we're going to see millions upon millions of high-paying jobs. We're going to see wages going up for everybody. We're going to see young people coming out of school with 2, 3, 4, 5 job opportunities. We'll see morning in America again. The second critical issue in this election is freedom. You know, just a few weeks ago, the passing of Justice Scalia underscored the stakes of this election. It is not just one branch, but two branches of government that hang in the balance. We are one liberal justice away from a radical 5-justice leftist majority, the likes of which this country has never seen. We are one liberal justice away from the Supreme Court stripping away the religious liberty of every American. We are one liberal justice away from the Supreme Court effectively erasing the Second Amendment from the Bill of Rights. And we are one liberal justice away from the Supreme Court making us subject to the World Court and the United Nations and international law and giving up U.S. sovereignty. Now, you know, a couple of debates ago, Hugh Hewitt asked all of us some questions about religious liberty in the Supreme Court. And Donald Trump turned to me and he said, "Ted, I've known a lot more politicians than you have." Well, in that, he's right. He's been supporting liberal Democratic politicians for 40 years. I have no experience doing that. But Donald continued, he said, "Ted, when it comes to religious liberty, when it comes to the Supreme Court, you've got to learn to compromise. You've got to learn to cut a deal with the Democrats and to go along to get along." Well, let me be very, very clear to the men and women of Illinois. I will not compromise away your religious liberty. And I will not compromise away your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. The third critical issue in this election is security. You know, for 7 years we've seen an administration that abandons and alienates our friends and allies, and that shows weakness and appeasement to our enemies. Again, 2 debates ago, Donald Trump explained that if he were president, he would be neutral between Israel and the Palestinians. Well, let me be very clear. As president, I will not be neutral. America will stand unapologetically with the nation of Israel. And you know, anyone who can't tell the difference between our friends and our enemies, anyone who can't tell the difference between the nation of Israel and Islamic terrorists who want to murder us, that raises real questions about their fitness and judgment to be commander-in-chief. Especially given over the last 7 years, we have seen our military undermined. We've seen our readiness degraded. We've seen morale of our troops plummeting. But you know what, as a country, we've seen this before. We've seen another left-wing Democratic president, Jimmy Carter, weaken and undermine the military. And then in January 1981, Ronald Reagan came into office. Ronald Reagan, a man who went to college just a few miles from here. And what did Reagan do? He cut taxes, he lifted regulations, we saw small business explode, millions of high-paying jobs. It generated trillions in new revenue for the government. He used that money to rebuild the military, and we bankrupted the Soviet Union and won the Cold War. I intend to do the exact same thing with radical Islamic terrorism. We're going to repeal Obamacare, pass a flat tax, pull back the regulations, secure the borders, and we will see small businesses exploding. We'll see millions of high-paying jobs. It'll generate trillions in new government revenue, and we will use that money to rebuild our military so it remains the mightiest fighting force on the face of the planet. And no longer will our military be governed by political correctness. We will have a commander-in-chief who stands up and says to the world, we will defeat radical Islamic terrorism. We'll have a president willing to utter the words, radical Islamic terrorism. And you know, one of the most shameful aspects of the last 7 years has been this president sending our fighting men and women into combat with rules of engagement so strict that their arms are tied behind their backs, that they cannot fight, they cannot kill the enemy, and they cannot defend themselves. That is wrong. It is immoral. And mark my words, in January 2017, it will end. America has always been reluctant to use military force. We are slow to anger. But if and when military force is needed, we should use overwhelming force, kill the enemy, and then get the heck out! So Election Day is tomorrow. Tomorrow, the men and women of Illinois get a chance to speak speak for the entire country. Now, this election started a year ago. We had 17 candidates in the Republican field. It was a young, talented, dynamic, energetic, amazing field of candidates. What a contrast with the Democrats. And yet, over the course of a year, that field has narrowed and it has narrowed. And so as we stand here today, there is one campaign, and only one campaign, that is in a position to beat Donald Trump and win the Republican nomination. You know, if you're one of the 65 to 70% of Republicans nationwide who recognize that Donald Trump is not the best candidate to go head-to-head with Hillary Clinton, that Donald loses to Hillary Clinton. And if Hillary is president, it is a disaster. We lose the Supreme Court for a generation, we lose the Bill of Rights, and our kids are buried in debt, and their future is put into jeopardy. If you're one of the 65 to 70% of Republicans who get why the mainstream media so desperately wants Donald Trump to be the nominee, because he may be the one person on the face of the planet Hillary Clinton can beat in the general election, then I ask you to come together and join with us. You know, maybe you started out this campaign supporting somebody else. Maybe you started out supporting Jeb Bush or Chris Christie. Maybe you started out supporting Rand Paul or Mike Huckabee. Maybe you started out supporting Carly Fiorina or Dr. Ben Carson. Maybe now even you're thinking about supporting Marco Rubio or John Kasich. Let me just say to you, all of those are good, honorable, decent people, people I like and respect. But at this point, none of them have any plausible path whatsoever to beating Donald Trump and becoming the Republican nominee. And so if you're here today, or if you're at home watching on television and you're thinking about supporting Marco Rubio or John Kasich, I would say to you, they're good men, but they do not have a path to winning. It's mathematically impossible for them to win. So I say to you, come and join us. We welcome you with open arms. Our campaign is the only campaign that has beaten Donald Trump over and over and over again. Not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times, but 9 times all over this country. And Illinois is a battleground. Illinois right now, Donald Trump and I are effectively tied. We are neck and neck here in the state of Illinois. And listen, the men and women of Illinois, y'all are used to being neglected by national Republican politics. Well, this cycle, Illinois has a platform, has a megaphone for the whole country. Firsthand the devastation that comes from left-wing liberal democratic policies that have been foisted on you year after year after year. of the liberal Democrats that have been slamming the people of Illinois? Donald J. Trump. Rod Blagojevich. Donald Trump gave Rod Blagojevich $7,000 to support his campaigns. The Cook County Democratic Party. Not exactly a bastion of integrity. Donald Trump gave $12,500 to the Cook County Democratic Party. Rahm Emanuel. Donald Trump gave $50,000 to Rahm Emanuel. Now let me ask a question. Can you imagine what kind of fevered state you would have to be in? 106 fever, DTs, you're kicking back and forth, where you wake up one day and say, I know, I gotta give $7 grand to Blaga. Can you imagine any universe where any of you writes a $7,000 check to Blaga? Maybe Trump baked it in a cake along with a file. Imagine for a second what it would take for one of you to write a $12,500 check to say, I got 12 grand. Who needs this? The Cook County Democratic Party. What possibly could possess you to give 50 grand to Rahm Emanuel, to the Godfather? Illinois knows where these policies lead. Illinois knows the costs. And right now, today, we have an opportunity to do something incredible tomorrow on Election Day. I want to ask every person here to come out tomorrow and vote for me 10 times. Now look, we're not Democrats. I'm not suggesting voter fraud. But if every one of you goes out and gets 9 other people to come and vote tomorrow, you will have voted 10 times. You know, maybe you're not yet old enough to vote. If you go out and get 10 other people to vote tomorrow, you will have voted 10 times before you turn 18. That is how we win, from the grassroots, from the people. Thank you, sir. Very charming of you. I appreciate your being here, and I appreciate free speech. And sir, thank you for being here. We will be respectful. See, sir, one difference between this and a Donald Trump rally is I'm not asking anyone to punch you in the face. Check for Rahm Emanuel. This race will be decided by the men and women gathered here. It will be decided friend to friend, neighbor to neighbor, pastor to pastor. This will be decided by each and every one of you. I want to remind you as well, when you come out and vote, to vote not just for me, but also to vote for your delegates, to vote for every delegate that is a delegate for me, to go down and vote one at a time and make sure your friends and neighbors we elect not only statewide, but that the delegates as well. And I want to tell you, it took Jimmy Carter to give us Ronald Reagan. And I am convinced the most long-lasting legacy of Barack Obama is going to be a new generation of leaders in the Republican Party who stand and fight for freedom, who stand and fight for the Constitution,